Beautiful.
In other not reef tank news, my little dirt frogs laid some eggs, and I decided to take them out. So I have 4 or 5 potential tadpoles in the making. So I'm curious to see if they hatch to little tiny
That's
frogs.
pretty cool. So dart frogs in captivity lose the ability because it's something in their food that gives them the
Yeah,
poison, correct?
yeah.
Okay.
It's all their jungle bug diet. So we don't have the jungle bugs, so they lose their poison.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Cool.
they're just cute.
All right.
Now where's
We're
matching
working
lips?
better
Look at
now. All
that.
right. I know what to
Oh
do next
yeah.
time. So yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
All right. I can hear myself in my
Oh,
headphones. It's kind of annoying for me, but as long as it's not annoying for everyone, it's all good.
just I've been there.
All right. Cool. So that tank in your background, that's your frag tank?
Kind of. It started as a frag tank, and then COVID happened, and I'm like, I don't really sell frags anyways, so I decided to turn it into more of a display tank.
Yeah.
So it's a display in the making. So it's been redone with rocks and sand, and now it's still like the new tank was going through bits of its uglies, but it's starting to get pretty slowly. Once I get rid of the heraldry, I think I'll be in a happy place.
It seems like such a commitment having a frag tank, but I feel like it's kind of fun. Like just be,
It is.
it's so easy. You can just move whatever,
Yeah.
like pick a piece up and frag it whenever you want instead of having to snap it off the rocks. I suppose that's not that
It's
difficult
true,
either.
but I don't know. Having display's more fun. I can always just break off a branch if I want to sell something later, and I don't really sell that much. And like, I like fancier corals. Like, I don't really care about the price, but I tend to like stuff that is fancier because I like different colors and stuff. And no one ever wants to pay more than like $20 for a cheap frag here, so I don't sell stuff anyways. If I do, it's just trading. So I was like, yeah, I want another display.
Exactly. No, I feel like that's
Yep.
kind of the way that a lot of seasoned hobbyists are going. We found
Mhm.
out, well, I found out a long time ago, space is a premium and we need to pick what we actually really enjoy keeping and not just have these extra
It's
bits
true.
laying around. And sometimes that means getting the really expensive ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true. And even now, like, it's funny, like, some of the ones, like, I had the, like, green goblin and acropore, and there's certain ones, I'm like, you're growing too fast. I'll take out these big trunks and just, I'll throw it in this tank and then free up the real estate in my main tank.
So,
So that's what I've been doing lately, is just, like, literally just removing big chunks of coral to make more space, because I'm lacking it.
in saying that, do you have any close reefers nearby that you sell or give to that you know personally instead of just selling to L public?
Oh, yeah. No, there's a handful. I don't really sell the public, to be honest. It's mostly just local reefers that I know. I usually just trade stuff these days. Like, I got a pretty sweet... I got a really cool rainbow chalice and, like, a pretty sweet, like, yellowy Fabia the other day. Awesome trades.
Yeah, I see some pretty nuts 5 years over there. It's a lot of the you've seen it more come out of the woodworks a lot more the last couple of years with COVID. They had their problems shipping stuff overseas, obviously, with the cost and just people. So you saw a bit of this coral come out of the woodworks that you'd never seen here before. And it's like, wow, that actually comes
Keys,
from a...
quiet on me, buddy.
Oh, what?
I lost your audio.
We there?
Rookie, come back to
Come
me.
back to me. Oh no. Alright, give me a sec.
You're slowly there. There you go.
What the hell happened there?
I don't know. You're a bit choppy, but you're backish.
Okay, back-ish. Yeah,
Backish.
that
Yeah.
sounds,
I'll turn you up on my end.
friggin' great.
Okay, you're good.
Alright. Are we a bit low, are we? Fuck me. Nothing goes right in this shit. Oh, now I've got real problems.
I can still hear him. Oh, well, you're still good. I turned you up. I'll live.
Yeah, but isn't it crackly?
Phil says he can hear you.
Okay. Alright, anyway. Yeah, so it's kind of, what were we talking about? Just that you distracted me so friggin' much. All the good
I
pieces
know,
of coral
right?
available and whatnot that we didn't have available before, you kind of saw it come out of the woodworks. And I literally did all this coral I didn't think was available in Australia, but obviously they knew there's a bigger market in America, so it was all previously getting sent overseas. So you'd be surprised how much of good corals come from Australia, like high-end corals come from Australia. There's a lot that does come
You
from
guys-
Indonesia for sure.
You guys got a lot of nice stuff out there.
Oh, for sure.
You like, even though you're limited to like what's around you, you have a lot of nice stuff around you, so it's not too bad of a deal.
Yeah, no, I saw a stream that Shane Danger did on, I forget, the Kush Corals or something the other day, and they asked the guy that hosts that, I don't know his name, he asked Shane how many corals we don't have in Australia, and there's really not too many. Hey, there's a few little bits and bobs, but a lot of the what you don't even call it scalemia anymore. What is it? I forget. Anyway, it changes so friggin' often.
The scullies.
Yeah, all the scullies and all that. They're pretty specific from Australia. You get different ones from Indo, but they're different breeds, different types and whatnot, and not normally as
strains.
Strains. We'll go with that.
Hybrids.
Yeah, that's it.
What do you think about hybridizing corals and making like? Because I know in the lab they'll be able to spawn corals, right? They're getting there and they're starting to do it. And I always wonder if they'll start to be able to make like cool hybrid corals, like one that are more hardy, which is like for the environment. But if they can start, hybridizing like super colorful, crazy stuff together.
I think it's the way that we're going to go. Like, obviously, in the time that we've both been in the hobby, we're seeing quite a lot change. And that's going to just get more and more extreme, I believe, the way the world's going. We've got freaking robots that run around and look like fucking humans now. It's scary. So eventually that form of all technology's got to start somewhere. It's like Mercedes as a car brand. They kind of they seem to be the innovators of a lot of the stuff, and then 20 years later you see it as standard in the cars. So I believe you go.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and they had this like personal sub type of thing that looked freaking sweet. It was like a 2-person sub, and this little bubble and like little jet engine things on the side, and it's like cruising around the water. That'd be so cool to have if you live somewhere like tropical on the reef. Just go cruise around and explore. Oh,
fuck yeah!
Amazing.
I'd be out there cruising around every
so
day for
cool.
sure. It's like a jet ski, but you can actually use better.
Yeah, I'll send you the video later, the one I was watching, but it looks so cool. It looks so
I've
fun.
seen a few things like that, and yeah, just as sort of saying, the hobby's gonna for sure advance at a pretty high rate, I believe, soon. There's a lot of people that are heavily into learning about spawning and all that kind of stuff. So I think that as we mentioned on the stream, or your stream the other day, it's something where breeding will become part of the hobby. Obviously, I think they'll still be collecting until we don't allow it anymore. I heard apparently
for sure.
Indonesia wants to stop by 2023 or 24. But apparently they said they were going to stop back in 2020 or something previously. So, and that didn't happen because of COVID or who knows. Now, I'm not sure how solid that source is that I heard that from, but that's kind of like a little bit overwhelming hearing that a bit, because hey, we like to think of ourselves as one of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like one of the top countries in the world. Not America's obviously top. Don't worry, we're not arguing, but we like to do things ahead of time normally. So if Indonesia does take something like a drastic step for that, it's a lot of money, but I can see issues with Australia collection for sure.
Yeah, well, eventually, I mean, there's going to be coral banks and, farms growing and hobbyists, right? Like, eventually, at one point in the future, who knows when. So, don't kill your coral. Keep it growing. Keep trading with your friends. Got to keep the gene pool strong and plentiful.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my opinion.
For sure. So, Reef Keeper Phil has just said Kung Fu Corals has been grafting torches together. Not sure how well it works. Yeah, I've got a torch that's different colours on the same head. So quite often you'll get different heads, so the same piece but with different colours on it over here. But excuse me, that soft drink's getting to me. Having that on the same polyp is quite unusual, so that's pretty cool. But there's a lot of hybridization I believe that we can do. There's just certain corals that won't. It's like trying to breed a penguin and a kookaburra. It's not going to fucking work, is it? Like, they're the same thing, but they're not. Like,
almost, but not quite.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I
I kind
wanted
of want to try grafting a torch now.
grafting a torch.
Sorry.
I don't even know how you go about that. So is he actually cutting different scepters? Is it called, or is he? Yeah. What's it? How's
I'm
he doing
assuming
that?
he cut my blind guess off what Phil said is he cuts her straight down the middle of the head,
Splits the
dips it
head.
in some antibiotics, then probably glues the two back together, two different ones.
Yeah. See, antibiotics is something that's really good, and I feel like it's a good addition to the hobby in a sense, but at the same time, that's coming from someone who's a little bit of a seasoned hobbyist. Feel like there's a bit too much information out there about antibiotics just hitting every single problem with a coral with it, and that's something that really does concern me because antibiotic bacterial resistant bacteria is a thing, and it's something where in humans we've only got so many options before we run out, and then literally we're fucked. We don't.
But like, how long would it take to build up a resistance? Like, if you dip something once or twice, like I wouldn't think that'd be enough. But if you're doing it like for a year or two, then I'm sure it would. But like,
Who knows? Who
like
knows? I don't
I don't
know
know.
that answer, and I suppose there's people out there that have done it several times. I personally have only ever ran something in antibiotics for. I've never done dips. I've done a quarantine tank of antibiotics where I've taken corals out that were affected, being mushrooms, and I've put them into a separate coral tank, and I've dosed that tank with
Yeah.
full-time antibiotics for 2 weeks. That's the longest I've ever gone, and that's about the longest I feel comfortable with. And I don't think if that didn't solve the problem, I would have given up at that point. Rather than in a week, if I
Yeah.
took them out and they had another problem, then I dip them again. I don't know. What are
hmm
your thoughts?
So I've done the one round of it. So technically, ChemiClean is kind of an antibiotic, I would think. Maybe not directly, but it. I'm just throwing that out there. So I think we've all used it. Now, side note, I did use the more hardcore stuff while my torches, which I did the KFC dip, and I did 5 rounds of dipping over a week, and that was like 6-hour dips. So that's the most I've done. But it seemed to work, and then none of my torch. I haven't lost a single head since I did
It's
it,
a lot of effort, though,
and
isn't
stuff
it?
looks like it's pretty. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But it was also many heads of a very expensive torch I didn't want to lose.
Well, that's the hard
And it
part,
was
isn't it?
just kind of slow. It was very slowly receding. So it seems much happier now.
It's good because
So
we're trying to save corals, but at the same time, you put in that much time. It's like, okay, this piece was expensive, but my time's worth money too. And it ends
I
up,
mean, it's not that bad.
uh,
You fill out the bucket.
yeah,
But I also had to make a video for the week, so it was part of my video.
that's very true. In your case, it kind of works in your favor. Now, talking about making videos, I wanted to ask you the question of, I don't think I've ever heard how you A, got into the hobby, and B,
Yes.
how you got into YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're
Where
going
would you like
back.
to
We're
start?
going back. Look, we've got a drink. I'm settled here. We're not going for too long today, but we are going to be we're going to be hanging out with Reef Dudes. Exactly what the title says.
So first question, how did I get into reefing? So back, like way back in the day, like high school days, I guess it would be middle school, whatever it was. I had aquariums, like the good old freshwater tanks. And then my current wife, girlfriend at the time, this is like many years later. I was over at her place and she had this old little fluval tank that was unused. I was like, hey, what are you doing with that? I was like, can I have it? And I set that up, and that was like a freshwater tank. So I did that, and it very soon I got hardcore into the planted tanks, and I had a bazillion planted tanks, and including like bigger ones. Like I had my biggest planted one was a fluval sock. It was like 80 something gallons with like the bent glass and super cool. But it was, I had my T5 HOs, and then I was dosing fertilizers, and I was too lazy to dose. And I don't even know if dosers were a thing back then, but I built my own doser with Arduino and like dosing heads from China. Like I built my own doser because I was too lazy to dose, injecting CO2. It was like high-tech planted tanks. So that kind of made a very easy transition to reef tanks later. And then after that tank, then I was like hardcore into the shrimp. I had all these fancy shrimp tanks. And then one day I was like, saltwater can't be too hard. So I just drained out one of my freshwater tanks and converted to saltwater one day, and I was off to the races, and I was pretty hooked. And freshwater tanks were just getting more and more neglected over time, and eventually I just converted all to salt. And it's been a rabbit hole ever since. It's just like one tank, and then you run out of coral space and you upgrade. It's at a 12-gallon. My very first tank was a 12-gallon fluval edge. Looks super cool. Pain in the ass to freaking maintenance it because you can't put your hand in there. You gotta drain some out. So I had that one, and then I went to I think it was a 16-gallon, and then a 24-gallon, then a 30-gallon, then around 140-gallon. Then what else thought about? Then about 150, 60, another water box, and then this one. So there's been many upgrades since I started.
You did steps along the way, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I also started with like everything was super ghetto DIY, then China stuff, and then slightly fancier, and I've upgraded a bazillion times. So I've definitely been through all those methods.
I've noticed you do like a bit of DIY on your channel. Not so much recently, but I know a lot of all of your old channels were making dosing things and doing this and doing that. I appreciated a lot of them videos, that's for sure, back in the day.
I enjoy them. It's more of a lack of time to some of these projects, so I still sneak them in once in a while, but I don't have as much free time as I once did to do them all, having kids and everything now. Life be crazy.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's funny how it catches up on you, hey? You're younger and you think that you're... although I'm kind of younger, or I don't feel it half the time recently. But yeah, it definitely... you get less and less time as time goes by, that's for sure. And I haven't even got kids yet, so... I'm looking forward to that.
Oof. You somehow make it work, though. Still just... somehow fit it all.
That's it. So what made you... Obviously, you were into freshwater tanks. I'm sorry, you might have mentioned it, but did you have just fish before you had planted tanks, or it was straight into planted tanks?
I started with, like... The first one had... What did it have in it? I think I had like a fake tree, but then I covered it in real moss on the top and did that. That was like the early one, and then it was like hollow planted. Like I had like really cool like hardscape and crazy ones, and I'll dig out some more photos later, but I had some really cool planted ones. Like I was hardcore into the plants and like the full carpeted bed, like fields of grass and stuff growing. And
yeah, if we had been more organized, I would have thrown up pictures right here. So just imagine that, pictures happening of all these things. Just imagine it in your mind. It's good enough.
That'd require me finding them though.
Hey, your mind might
so I was really
better
hard.
than his tanks used to. Who knows? But I know that obviously did you have to dose CO2 to them tanks or just fertilizer?
Oh yeah, they're all CO2. Which was funny because when I went to saltwater tanks and do like calcium reactors, I was like, oh, I already got CO2 tanks and regulators.
You were sorted.
I already made my own dosing pump, so it was honestly a really easy transition because I'm like, oh, this is basically the same as like a planted tank. I got CO2, works on either, you dose stuff, it was the same as both. Like, honestly, there wasn't that big of a difference, minus like, the light's a bit bluer, but otherwise, it's pretty similar.
I feel like it's something where a real basic reef tank would be easier to keep than, or like far easier to keep than an extreme planted tank. It's something I really have respect for when I do see these really nice planted tanks, especially with the aquascape and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now, I would say, though, that with the planted, it was like sometimes you have weird algae juice to deal with and stuff. Like, in general, I would almost say saltwater is easy because you have less algae in battles. As I say that, and there's freaking algae battle behind me. But aside from that, like, my big water box, like, there's zero algae issues. Like, the tank's, like, pristine, and I do nothing on it anymore, minus have cause out swings. I mean, the tank's pretty settled now, which is awesome.
That's always a good place to be when your tank settles into its groove and you just don't have to do much to it. Test it every now and again, although you have...
It's a little over two...
You have automatic testing, don't you?
Everything, yeah. I'm OCD, obsessive, crazy. Like, I likely have way too much gear on my tank, but I'm also a gear junkie, and I like it. Like, it's ridiculous to the point that I have two different testers on there. But I use them to, keep each other honest. So
well, I know from your point of view, as you said, having the channel does help a lot with that because you have a reason to do them things. So it kind of helps you dive in a bit
Yeah.
deeper because you need content anyway. So why not go to the extreme? I
It's
suppose in your
yeah,
case.
it's true. Like I definitely do more than I probably would if I didn't have YouTube because it inspires me to do stuff. Now here's like the catch 22. My earlier tanks, my earlier days of reefing, when I would like test equipment and change stuff more often, like my tank was way more pissed because I was constantly changing stuff, right? And you're constantly trying different gear, you're constantly doing different things. And I was doing it for like YouTube purposes, but my tank was suffering because it was hurting the stability because I was effing with it so much. So at least now having two big tanks, I can like, spread it out and not just annoy one tank all the time.
Yeah, it's precisely right. The one thing I find hard is because I like to also keep my water mixing separate. So for my
Yeah.
main tank and for my quarantines, it's two separate containers, two separate buckets that I bring in between, and it's a fucking nightmare, to be honest. it it really is. Hey, I'm getting over this quarantine
Yeah.
shit, but at the same time, I can't replace the fish that are in that tank. And if something happened, I'd feel like I was the laziest prick ever, and that I should have done more. So the more we can feel that way in a sense is kind of going to help us
Mhm.
all in this hobby, help people looking from the outside in, who instead of us just not caring about this stuff, it's something that actually means something to us. I was talking to my neighbor the
Yeah.
other day, and she mentioned that she was a little bit depressed, and I said, why don't you get like a fish tank or something? And she said, fish aren't pets. I'm like, well, maybe you should get something. And then you realize that once you have these fish for years, they really do become pets. And it's something where,
Oh yeah, like I have fish that I've had for 7+ years now. Like that's a long time to have a creature.
yeah,
So
just touching on pets, I don't. It's something where they grow like a part of you. I don't want to lose my coal tank. As I said, I can't replace it. I can replace the
hmm
little Ocellaris and whatnot, but yeah, I'd prefer not to. So I do what I do. In my sense, it's crazy, but you do what you
Yep,
do, don't you? I'll stop saying that now.
it's true. It's true. It's fun. I like it.
So do you put anything in your display straight away, or do you somewhat put it in the frag tank first, or?
Nah, it goes in right away. I probably should have a quarantine tank, but I don't have space for any more tanks right now.
You got a lot of
I
fish too.
dip, I inspect. I've been bit in the past, but I like any new corals. Like I always dip stuff, and if there's anything suspect, then it probably won't go in the tank. Like I bought a frag off someone a while ago. I'm like, oh, it looks like bite marks. I like threw the frag under the microscope. I'm inspecting it, dipped it a couple times. I'm like, yep, that green flatworm's like, nope, I just tossed the frag. I'm like, not worth the risk.
Yeah, sometimes it's
So
unfortunate, but I've definitely bought stuff home before and had flatworms or whatever on it, and I haven't thrown it out, but I'm lucky that I do have the
I
setup
have.
that I do. Well, that's why you should just have maybe one tank that's for incoming corals. It doesn't have to look bad. That's what people think. These
No,
tanks, like,
no, but here's the thing. I agree with you, and I should have that, and that would be
well, you
perfect
have
world. But
that.
then
You've
it's
got a tank right fucking
no.
there without fish in it. Not
That's like
many. Not many.
it's full of fish,
It's a.
full of
Is
fish,
it?
buddy. Yeah,
Oh, I thought
I
you only had
got
fish in your main tank.
I got a melanaris. I got clownfish.
Okay.
I got a copper
Yeah.
band.
Oh,
I got a tailspot plenty. I have a purple dotty back. I have a neon dotty back. What else I got in there? Bangai cardinal.
are the dotty backs
Lots of stuff in
assholes?
there. So far, no.
No.
I bought them both pretty tiny, and I had them both at the same time, like the neon one that's like yellow and blue, and then the purple one.
I didn't realize
And
you
so
had
far,
so
they've
many
been
fish in there.
good. Yeah, there's probably more I'm not thinking of when I see them. There's a chromis, a Bangai cardinal.
Yeah, see, I find
Oh, and there's a whitetail bristletooth. There's a yellow tang. A lot of stuff in there.
fair enough. All right, well, get another tank then. Be crazy like me and have three. There's crazier people, that's for sure. There's people with 20.
I'm doing terrible at this, but I keep thinking I'm gonna not add any more big fish and just add tiny fish from now on. Because because I like that scale. But then a buddy was like, "Oh, I might be shutting down my tank and might sell my powder blue." I'm like, "Ooh, temptation."
Yeah, but powder blues are so much trouble. Obviously, if you know it's coming from
Yeah.
a good source, that's a lot more reassuring. But
The problem is, I know it would be a problem with my yellow tank. I know they would
yeah,
be duking it.
yeah, exactly. So how big's that? How big's that frag tank? You're gonna get the tank police called on you soon.
No, it's long. There's lots of swimming
It's
space.
long. It's long, I swear.
I
There's
can-
like 8 foot out
can
of the shot
inside
that you
it.
can't see.
No, I laid inside of this tank, and I'm 6'1", so it's longer than.
So it's a good 6 foot. It only looks like about 4 from here, and just from
It's
the
more than that.
pictures.
It's like
And your main display is, I know your main display is like 6 foot.
it's more than 6.5, less than 7, somewhere in that range.
And your
The main
main display?
6.
6.
My main display is a 6 foot.
Yeah, nice.
This one is longer and wider than my main display, but it's much shallower. Yeah, the water box is 72 by 25 by 24. And this one, I think it's 76 inches or 78, something like that, by 28 by 14.
Did you have that custom made? Yeah, I thought so.
That's
I remember. Was that the replacement for the tank that popped to sea? No, that was your
No.
bigger one, wasn't it?
yeah, that was like a 30-gallon tank with the
That was a
scene thing.
while ago.
Yeah, that was a smaller tank.
Yeah.
No, this is just a custom one. I had the Lagoon tank before this. That was 36 by 28 by 14. I love the dimensions, but I wanted more space. So I basically made it 2 and a bit times wider.
Looks like it's a good looking tank. It's almost like the kind of frag tank you see in shops. Probably bigger than
Well, I
some.
Probably.
You fit a bit
No,
in there.
it's good. As with most things, I overkill it.
Yeah.
So it has dual return pumps. There's 4 MP40s on the back wall shooting forward. And then I have 5 XR15s for lighting it, as well as some Reef Pride strips. So, I mean, it's kind of overkill, but it works
I
well.
was literally about to ask you why you bother with dual return pumps, but do you know what happened just earlier, or about 2 hours ago?
One every turn up, and you wish you had a backup?
Yeah, something like that. The overflow in this tank isn't sealed because I pulled it off to get something to it, and I've been meaning to get to it, but I had the tank to replace it, so I just didn't. So if power goes out in this tank, it's a little bit of a nightmare at the moment. So I had the valve shut off normally, but I had it open for some reason, and I was doing something. I had music on, jumping around, and I looked at the tank and went, "Oh, that's half empty," and the sump was all full. So I caught it within a centimeter, so about that much of overflow. So that was good. All the frag racks are sitting there out of the water.
Yeah. I got a good one for you if it makes you feel any better. I was the other day when I was doing a massive water change on my tank, trying to correct. I don't know if this is correcting for the elk swings or something else, but anyways, I was doing something, and I was like, oh well, my water's drained. I should soak my return nozzles in some citric acid and clean them. So I had all the return piping turned off, and I was in the other room talking to the wife. I was like, oh, I should start filling up the tank again. Turned on my return pump. My return nozzle T's weren't on, so I think the water was straight up in the air, shot down the wall. I think it fried my networking switch that I had behind the tank and some other stuff. I was like, no. So I caught it fairly quickly, but it already did some damage. So that sucked.
Yeah, the amount of times I've flooded my laundry, I can't count. Even the last time I had the termite guys around, they're underneath the house, and they're like, there's sort of a little bit of water damage there. I'm like, yeah, I know why. Don't worry. Although the washing machine I've just replaced, the return on the pump was admittedly leaking, so that didn't help.
Yep.
So we mentioned how you
things
got
we use reef tanks.
That's it. Hey, it's a great. Anyone comes from the outside, looks at all this gear, and they're like, "What the hell is that? 8-stage thing on the bloody wall, and all these buckets and it's crazy." And the missus doesn't particularly love it, but she loves the hobby. She doesn't love me taking up the.
I lost your audio, Ricky.
All the fish.
Come back.
Oh no! Again.
There you go. You're back. You're back. Welcome back.
I don't even know what's happening there with you. Anyway, at least
I don't
it's
know.
not.
You're back
Yeah,
though.
whatever. So we mentioned how you got into the hobby with freshwater and planted tanks. How'd you get into YouTube? Like, what made you want to start? What? It's obviously kind of. How long have you had the channel? 7, 8 years?
No, I haven't been doing YouTube that long.
It's
Let me
been a
see.
while. 5, 6.
Oh, I will tell you in a second. So I did random videos, but I know when I started trying and doing weekly videos.
It's a different thing,
I'll tell you
isn't it?
too.
Yeah. Intending to grow the channel.
Yeah, so it was 5-ish years ago. April 2017. Only because I remember what video it was the first one. I'm like, I'm gonna try and like do this consistently.
So 5.5 years. So 5.5 years ago, you were sitting there. You'd put out a few videos previously, but you decided that you were going to push on this channel called Reef Dudes. A, what made you call it Reef Dudes? And as I said, B, because I know a Dude's Reef, a channel in Australia. That I used
Who's this imposter?
Yeah, exactly. He stole your name. No, he's actually had a channel for probably 4 or 5 years as well. So it was admittedly a funny thing. But what made you pick the name, and what got you? What was that push? What drove that
Ricky,
push?
you're cutting out on me again. No, come back. Come back.
I should be back.
Ricky, come back.
Microphone.
Hello.
Microphone,
Welcome back.
Real tech.
Talk.
Microphone. I'm talking. I don't know whether you can hear me.
It's like you sound close and far away, and then close and far away. You kind of alternate. It's weird. Okay, so there's this Dude's Reef imposter. Ooh. Hey. Oh, you definitely have a loose wire, dude. Mess with it some more.
1 second. Ooh. Shit. Something.
Yep. I hear the static.
Alright. Am I here?
Yeah, you're here.
Fuck me.
I think you have a loose wire, and I think it is moving.
No,
as
it's not
you know.
that. It's the fact my mix has been in a fucking saltwater room for 5 years. So, and the amount of times I've spilt
Also
fucking
possible.
test valves on it. The poor thing is...
I lost you again.
Oh my god.
Time for an upgrade, buddy. New mixer for Ricky.
It clearly is. I can't even get super chats for this shit. Fuck me. Oh my god.
I got nothing.
Speakers.
I can't hear you.
Alright. No? No. Microphone.
It's cutting it out. I can hear your pumps go.
I know they can probably hear me on there because it's not. So I've got to watch what I say.
Ventriloquist. I can guess what you're saying.
Yeah, can you not lip read?
Crikey,
Yeah.
this bloody mixer. Bloody saltwater.
Oh no!
Messing with my circuits.
This is.
I know, mate.
This is stupid. All right, hang on.
Bloody
I'm gonna
hell.
cut my speaker. How about now? No.
Do you have a second mic on your computer?
No.
If so,
don't.
maybe swap the one that Skype is using for me. Because Phil said he could hear you earlier.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Give me a sec. Sorry guys, I'm new to this. Let everyone... I should put my glasses on so I can see what I'm looking at. Alright, so
Put the glasses
in the
on, we're getting serious.
meantime, can you explain how you got in the hobby? You can't hear me.
Can I explain? Then cut out.
Can you explain how you got into... Dummy! Oh my god! This is...
Type in the
Type
chat.
in the
Ricky.
chat. Alright, we'll do it this way.
I can still answer.
How did you start the fucking channel? Oh my god. Channel.
Dun, dun, dun,
God damn
dun.
it. The question we just asked. Bloody hell. Alright.
How did you start your channel? All right, there we go. So, I've always been very like entrepreneurial mindset. I've tried a bazillion things, like a million different websites and ad things and a bazillion things over the years. And you know, some of them, you know, they make some money, but none of them are like totally took off. Your audio sounds like it's back.
Is it?
So, yeah, you're good now.
Alright. Fuck me.
Just don't move. Don't blink. So
So I can't even
So-
drink. God.
Yeah, don't
God
blink.
damn it.
But I can hear you now, so we're good.
I
We're
said
back to
drink.
business.
I don't care about blinking. I can
Drink.
have a staring contest with you. I just can't not drink. No, I
Yeah,
shouldn't
you
say
can
that.
drink. You can drink.
All right.
It's acceptable.
Hopefully that works. All right, continue. Sorry about that.
Okay. So I tried a bazillion different things and internet ventures and random stuff. And then I realized that I would jump around too much. Like I would do one project, then I'd do another project, then I'd do another project, and I'd take on too many. And I pretty much I coined it as over enterprising because I just tried to do too many things. And I'm like, that's it. I just got to pick one thing and stick with it. And that one thing was YouTube. So I'm like, hey, I'm just going to do this. I'm like, I'm going to stick this project and I'm going to do it. And then you asked about the name Reef Dudes, and that was because I was actually supposed to do it with a buddy. So we bought the domain name, signed up the name, and all this stuff. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm too busy." Da da da. So like, whatever. I'm like, I already bought the domain name. I'm like, I'm rolling with it. So I just stuck with it and just kept the Reef Dudes name and just kept rolling. Now he probably wishes he joined me.
he probably does. It worked out well for you. Although you have put in a fair bit of effort to this channel. I think the other day when we were looking at it, just when we were chatting to each other, how many videos? 700 or something?
Oh my gosh, dude. It was ridiculous when I actually looked at it because it's been, 5 years of doing weekly videos and weekly live streams, which is insane. So it was like 250 live streams, like 400 videos or something crazy. Like, I don't even know how I keep coming up with stuff to do videos on every week. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's got to get old pretty quick. But you said when you started the channel, it was about 5 years ago. How long before that had you been in the hobby for?
A couple years, I think.
Couple years. So you had a bit of experience before you jumped in. I just jumped in.
Yeah, I was probably on my third tank when I started putting up just random videos, not before I was trying, but I'm gonna say my third tankish when I started doing third upgrade when I started doing content. So I wasn't complete newbie, but I was still newish, right?
And how long was it before you saw traction?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I gotta look at the stats.
Yeah.
Labor of love. The first thousand's a struggle, and then it's also interesting because the hobby is very seasonal, right? At least for me, like even looking at my YouTube stats, like I mean, COVID was actually really good because a lot more people around watching videos, and then but summertime hits, then usually your views tank down. Then winter comes, you'll see them jump back up again when it's cold out and people are inside playing through tanks again. So it is certain seasonal, but I don't know. I still hold myself to a video a week, live stream a week. It's like my goal. I feel guilty if I miss one, so.
I don't know how you've done it. I believe I've seen you miss kind of one in the last 4 years.
I know.
It's
labor of love, my boy.
It's pretty nuts, and I think you were away at the time or something. Like a man's got to have a holiday at some point. Like
it's probably my wedding when I took the week off.
Good excuse, I suppose. Yeah, for a break.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
we'll
like,
forgive you for that one.
If I'm aware I won't be there, I will try really hard to pre-do something for it too, right?
Yeah.
Like film an extra video or something. And I was really good for a while where I had a couple of videos in the queue, but I somehow burned them all up and haven't had the opportunity to get back there again. One day maybe. It's nice to have that extra buffer to buy you that week when you need it.
For sure. I've sat there and tried to do that before, and it's been successful, but at the same time, as you said, you kind of run out of it. Or editing, it's just, my videos are kind of heavily edited. The way I like to do YouTube is what I would want to watch, and I don't really care what anyone thinks. So if you want to watch me, and if you don't, you don't. So I all my stuff is music blaring here and there and fucking transitions left and right and all that kind of shit. But
hey, I really enjoyed your vacation diving whatever video, snorkeling one. That was a really cool one. Good job with that one.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. That one took a fair bit of effort. It was as I said, I've said it previously to everyone, but I've tried to do the get back into YouTube over the last year. I think I've put out 1 or 2 videos, and that was 5 months ago. Yeah, exactly. So I've been really lazy. It was hard because I never got into YouTube for making money.
You lost your rookie.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, you're hearing your mouse. You might be back.
All right, let's just. Can you hear me on that? I'll just put you on game capture.
Yep.
Yeah, audio. All right, they can hear me too
Yep.
now.
Perfect.
All right, we shouldn't have issues now. So yeah, I never got into this YouTube thing to make money. Not at all. It was to document my experience. But when I first got in,
Lost you. I think your Skype might be trying to noise cancel you out or something. There's an option for that. Disable that just in case.
it's off. Fucking hell.
You
Game
sure?
capture. Yeah, I'm sure. Default. All right, let's see what default is for you.
It defaults to auto.
Default.
If you have it on, turn it off.
Default. What, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've just gone to default for
Is it-
you, so.
No. Did you turn it off?
Yeah, it's been off the whole time.
Just checking, man. Just checking.
Yeah, I know. So there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but fucking,
Black magic.
yeah, we'll have to figure out before last time. So I never got into it to make money whatsoever. But when I did get into it, there was the option to monetize your videos. And that was something where it was just a little extra cookie, wasn't it? Like at the end of the day. And then they brought in the watch time and the 1,000 subs and all that. And I must admit that kind of did deteriorate me. I've still got like $120 sitting there on AdSense that I never got from 5 years ago. So yeah, that kind of was one of the things that put me off. Just someone in the chat, if there's anyone watching, would you mind just letting me know that you can hear us properly? I just want to make sure the audio is fine.
Let's try again. Dang it.
This is fucking weird.
You're back.
Yeah, but that's on the microphone now, and that's the source we've been losing all the friggin' time. So anyway. All right.
Welcome back.
All right. Let's move forward. Anyway, so I wanted to ask you what it's like. Obviously.
Last weekend.
Oh my. Ooh, you're gonna see me break something soon, chat. Like for sure. Oh, all right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I know, but there I go about friggin' 10 times, don't I? Like, yeah. So, question. Let's go. What's it like being a Canadian reefer?
Now it's all the static.
Man,
Huh?
I don't like this at all. At all. I'm gonna give up in a minute, that's for sure.
Well, this is the fun of live streaming.
Yeah, I know, but every time I've got to change the source every friggin' time. And you can hear me now, can't you?
Yeah, you're back
Yeah, I
now.
know, but I'll be gone in 2 friggin' seconds. I can't keep changing the same fucking setting, Tent.
Just have a drink and then don't blink and then you'll be okay.
Just answer the question quickly before I...
What's the question?
The question is, what it's like being a Canadian reefer. Like, obviously,
I
I've
don't
never
know.
been there. How many stores are local to you? How easy is it to get fish and decent stock? It's something that I'm curious.
I lost you, but Canadian reefer. Honestly, I don't know if there's a big difference between like Australian or US reefer. Like in the US, there's obviously way more options and way more stuff. But I mean, I think there's less choices in Canada, but there's still some pretty solid ones as well. I find an interesting thing just from traveling, like some stuff in Canada is like dirt cheap and it's crazy expensive in Canada in the US, and I'll find like the opposite where I come back here and certain things are cheaper in the US.
Yeah.
So anyway, you're typing again, so you're back.
I know that you like your... Do you still have the NEMs? What are the little NEMs?
I have about half of them still between my 2 tanks.
Yeah, I know you used to have a
Sold off
dedicated...
my least favorites and kept the prime ones, my faves.
Cool. Thanks for that, Ryan. Good to see you, by the way, mate. All right. So, is there many shops close by you, or?
Locally, I'm gonna say there is maybe like 2 in town, 1 in the next town over, and then a couple hours away in Vancouver. There's a ton of shops out there. About a month ago, I went to the grand opening for one in Aldergrove, which is about a 3-hour drive, and they had a really nice shop. Tons of sweet corals and stuff, so I was pretty stoked. Picked up a couple new goodies there.
And that's how far? About 2 hours, is it?
Yeah, it was like 3 hours probably.
3 hours per way.
Yeah, it was a drive, but
good.
I was like their guest for their grand opening.
Yeah, nice.
So it was
You Canadians, you're bloody too nice. You can't say no. That's yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, got a couple of cool corals.
Definitely. So, is there many things you don't see in Canada that you wish you could get?
I don't know. I'd say we see most things, not everything, but I'd say we see most things.
And you said the price is a bit different. Do you normally find it higher, or
It honestly really depends.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, rock flowers are expensive here. They're cheap in the States. Like in Florida, they're so much cheaper. Like at Macna, I bought a ton of mine at Macna because it was a quarter of the price of buying them here. But then I'll see stuff like a torch that's like $500 in the States, and then they're like, oh, it's 150 back home. So it's really like back and forth, and it's not consistent. It's all over the place.
do you know where most of the suppliers in Canada get their coral? Whether it's just Indo stuff,
It's
or
a mix.
yeah.
It's a mix. I know a few people who do their own importing. I do know another importer, and I do know a couple wholesalers and stuff. So it's definitely a mix of like all over the place of, whether it's like Indo or wherever they get it from, or one of the wholesalers in the U.S.
So there's nothing specifically that can't be imported into Canada that can be into America?
No, I think most things are pretty much fair game. I know it's a pain to do all the permitting and all that type of stuff, but you can totally do it.
Yeah, true. Okay, that's good to know. That's something that was interesting. So I saw that you constantly have your one wheeler going. Is that something that you that you still have you stacked it good yet?
Yeah, no, I'm decent at it. Like, I love it. It makes me happy. I haven't rode it enough the last little while since I had a
I haven't
kid,
seen
but
any pictures.
I'm going to.
No, you haven't posted up recently.
I've been slacking. I plan. I'll ride it lots next week.
Hey, you've got a fresh bub, like, pretty much.
It is like summer snowboarding.
Yeah,
It's great. I love it.
yeah, nice.
Have you tried one?
No, I haven't. Admittedly, I haven't even tried. The old school ones that you used to put both your feet on. I haven't even tried one of them. You saw it. Oh fuck! See everyone eat shit on them. It's fucking funny.
I know, right?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Last year.
Oh no! Fuck.
At least the chat can hear you. I mean, they're half there. I should listen to the chat to hear you.
Hopefully
But
they
there's a
can hear
30-second delay,
you.
so there'd be awkward intermissions.
Yeah, I know. It's
Oh, you're back. Welcome back.
stupid. I don't even know what's going on. As you said, I'm going to need a new mixer.
Yeah, you're there, and then you cut out, and you're like little body, and then you're static. And it's a zigzag.
So annoying.
You just spill salt water on the mixer too many times, man. It happens.
Yep.
Happens to the best of us.
You get that on the big jobs, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the problem. This is like the table for everything, so it's where I put all my test files when I'm testing and whatnot. So
I did the same thing. My old mixer was a bit shoddy, and I eventually upgraded it because same thing. It just sometimes you get weirdness, and it's like,
oh, well, this one's been good. And the bad thing is, I used to do kind of like repairs and stuff like that once upon a time, ages ago. So I should probably just look at it, but it hadn't been an issue because I don't live stream. But anyway. We're gonna try that now. As I said, I'm pushing back.
Lost you again, Ricky.
With the
Question
channel.
from Ryan in the chat. Radeon Gen 6 Blue or Pro? Personally, I like the Pros. I did Pros on both my tanks. Blue has some really nice color pop, but you can also get pretty dang close with the Pros. And the Pros, you can also get a lot of a warmer, whiter spectrum. And I like, on my schedule, I'm actually about to do a video on my schedule this weekend because I get asked about it weekly. I go from like very blue in the morning, and from I'm gonna say about 10 or about noon to 4 p.m. I have a very crispy white, but you still get the nice color, vibrance, pop. It's just a very crispy look, and then after that it fades down to more of an AB plus look for the rest of the day. I use the Pros, and to me I like it because you get, you start with the blues, you get super crispy white, pristine looking, then it goes more down to the AB plus, then more down to the heavy blue. That's how I do mine because it's kind of like the best of all the worlds. So I personally prefer the Pros. If you're someone that only likes running the blues and you want all blues, then go for the blues. Now that being said, I think the advantage of the blues is if you're like running them at 100%, like all up. If you're only running at like 50%, you can make either light look almost identical. So
I've been curious, but not curious enough to spend that much money.
I had one of each, so I had a really good way to compare them.
Precisely. So,
Yeah.
do you somewhat get discounts sometimes with stuff like that, or no? That was
Yeah,
just full
well,
cost.
sometimes.
So, depending
Um,
on what
it's a
you're doing,
mix.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, on the magical, wonderful side, is Ecotech became a sponsor of my channel as of like 2 weeks
No,
ago.
that's pretty
So that's pretty.
convenient, isn't it? They have some.
So that will be even sweeter for the future.
Yeah, it's certainly so. So don't get too commercial on us. God damn it! I won't be able
I
to
don't though.
bring you on here and
You know,
swears or anything.
the thing is though, if you go back to my videos, I've been using Radions and Vortex for like 7 years. So like I've been using them for so
Yeah,
long and love them
yeah.
anyway. So it was like easy idea to go with them because I already use like 90% of their products. I already like it, so it was an easy
I
yes.
think I've
'Cause I
always
won't.
seen you with Radions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ever since like my first couple tanks, I did like China ones and DIY ones, and then eventually went to Radeon, and I just never went back because they work so well. And I like the minimalist of them. I don't like big, heavy, chunky things above my tank.
True. So they're sponsoring
Um,
you now, but you've already done a favor by putting a bit of money in their pocket over the
Beautiful.
years. So.
Yeah, probably.
You support them,
Yeah.
they support
Look
you.
at the cool stuff I'll get to play with more. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
good. Like I've already done like I've done beta testing for some of their products, different stuff. So I've always had a good relationship with them. They like me. I've used their stuff for years, and I always say good things about it because I like all their gear. So they're
Is
good.
there is there anything that you specifically think of that you're wanting from their range, or wanting to try? Should I say?
Not really.
You've got basically everything,
I
don't you?
can't. This is ridiculous, but I have way too much stuff. Like there's nothing I need. Like, and the weird thing is like I have people approaching me for stuff all the time because I have a big YouTube channel now,
Yeah.
right? Like, another company the other day, they're like, "Oh, you want our lights?" I'm like, "No, I'm good, thanks." But then like, "Oh, we got this elk tester." I was just like, "Well, if you want to send me it, okay."
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I might get another elk tester. Do I need it? No, but I'll try it and compare it with the other ones. And
It's one of them
see how
things
it
you don't want
does.
to be a massive friggin' shill, do you? But so
No, well, that's the thing. I even told them, I'm like, you can feel free to send me it. I said, but I'm gonna use it for at least a month and make sure I like it before I do a video on it. Like as a rule, like if I think something's crappy, like I'm not gonna do a video saying it's shit. I'm just not gonna do a video on it. Like if I like it, I'll do a video on it. If I don't know it, so
yeah.
that's kind of like, well, because I don't want to like bash a company, but I'm also not gonna promote something that I don't think is any good.
Precisely right. It's like you're willing to advertise something that you already use anyway. So why
Yeah.
the hell not? As I said, if they want to support
Yeah,
you,
if I like it, fair game. But if I don't like it, then I'm just not going to.
well, you've got one of the biggest channels, basically reef related. Anyway, that's a lot of exposure they're getting from it. So, as you said,
Sounded flattering, and then I lost you again. Oh, you're back. I'll come back, buddy.
yeah, I know, but it's changing sources and doing all that. I don't know what the fuck's going on the actual channel.
I lost you again. And you're back.
Oh my god. This is getting old real quick. Anyway, all right, let's get through this because this is obviously a bogus, but we'll do this another time. Gone again.
You're there, and then you just go quiet, and almost like a slight tunnel vision. Then you just fade away. It's like you're there, and your audio just slowly fades off into the abyss. Okay, so Ryan, I have 3 XR15 second. 2 Gen 6s, 1 Gen 5. I like the whiter in the Gen 5. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I totally do the pros then. If you like the slightly whiter the Gen 5s, then you'll be happy. I am very happy with my pros. Second Gen. Yeah, I've never used the second gens. I started with the Gen 3, so I've had 3, 4, 5, 6 now. And then the Vortex and the Quiet drives. And then the M1, the M2. You know what's funny? Slight rant as you swap your audio sources. When I originally high pitched like whiny sound. Like most people couldn't hear it. if it's quieter than my current. So he said I could return it as long as I didn't glue or mess up any fittings. So I took it home and this is stupid because it cost me like $30 in like plumbing fittings to be able to like hook this up without actually like gluing or doing anything. So I got all these fittings and I did. I took it home and I was like, damn it, it is quieter. So then I've kept it. And then, yeah, I've been addicted ever since because I'm obsessed with having a silent system. You're still quiet.
Yeah, I was just testing everything. All right, how can you hear me now? Sorry about that,
You
guys.
bet you.
Oh, I'm even sweating here. I'm that fucking anxious with this shit not working. All right, let's.
In there.
Yeah. No, it gets old as a. All right, so we talked about biggest hobbies. Other hobbies, sorry. I wanted to ask you, we had me on the other day on your stream and we were meant to talk about problems and lessons that I've had, but we went on so many different rants that I'm not sure how many questions that we answered or went through any of that. So what are, over your kind of 6-7 years in the hobby, what are your biggest, can you list off maybe 3 of your biggest mistakes that you think you've made?
How the tables have turned.
How they have. I should look. As I said, we all make mistakes. This is about other people learning. I shouldn't have just dropped that one on you. Sorry.
No, that's fine, dude. I am an open book. Ask me.
Yeah, that's what I figured, isn't it?
I'm gonna say my first big lesson that I learned is not to overdo GFO. In my early days, I was so obsessed with not getting algae and like rocking the GFO that I bottomed out my phosphates and not quite bleached out, but paled out a ton of my acros, and they did not fare very well from that. So my original lesson learned, I'm going to say, is do not overdo GFO. GFO is magical. It works extremely well. If you're not careful, it works too well. So definitely less flow and go slow with that one. My second biggest lesson learned.
I got just before you move on. You said just touching on the GFO. I remember getting into the hobby, how many things I bought that I didn't need because I did so much research. I did a year's worth of research before I got into it. So I've got 3 friggin' containers of GFO there from about 6 years ago that still haven't been used because I tried it once and saw the effects.
Huh.
I used like half the amount they saw and it drastically dropped it. I'm like, nope, not gonna use that.
I still use it, just like every 2 months or so. I'll replace it just to knock things down again.
True, I should give it a go. In there, actually, I don't really have any nutrients in my tank. I've been lazy with feeding a bit, especially with my main tank.
This tank has no nutrients, but my big tank has lots. But I also have a bazillion fish in there.
So GFO, number one mistake that you've made, too much GFO. What's number 2?
Not using float valves. The amount of times I have overflowed my RODI was not good.
See, that's something I could learn from because I still don't have float valves.
Yep. So that was my biggest one. Why is my PO4 a week ago? Must be out of reagent. Yeah, 0.09. See, it's still it's on the upper end where I like it. So float valves. Float valves are very magical. Put them on everything. I have overflow containers more times I'd like to admit. There's also that little marriage saver one that's like a little optical sensor and a solenoid. That one also works very well.
I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen just the basic ones, but
it's a magnetic optical sensor and a solenoid valve. So basically, when you turn it on, it runs, and as soon as the optical sensor gets wet, it closes it off.
Actually, I have seen them. You can get them for the Kamoas and that. You can get a standard build one for your RODI straight into your ATO. Although I see that as an issue in the making, just having constant pressure sitting there in them little lines. Them little lines get really affected by UV over time.
So, the tank behind me, I have an RODI in that little crack between the wall and the tank. And every 3 days or so, it turns on and refills my ATO container. And I have that marriage saver on there. So the apex, when the water level drops below about 3 inches, the apex turns on the outlet for the marriage saver, and it turns it off at like 9 inches or whatever the heck it is, right? So I got one of those level sensors. So it turns it on and off based on the level. But if it ever goes past, I have the optical sensor for the marriage saver like an inch above it. So then that would turn off the solo into the RODI. And if that was to bugger up, then I also have a float valve in there. So there's like 3 different levels of redundancy. But I never have to refill my ATO anymore, which is nice.
Okay. I've just lost you on... Oh, this is a real shit show. Hang on, I'm going to remove that source and add just your picture. We can hear your audio still, but definitely your picture. The NDI source was still there, so I don't even know. I'm just going to add existing again. There we
Like
are.
a ghost.
All right, you're there.
I'm the ghost of the lagoon in your background.
Yeah, you're back, hopefully. There we go. I'll make you a bit smaller so we can see what's going on. All right. So that was number 2 mistake.
Yep.
So what's 3? Come on, you haven't made that little mistakes in that time. I know I've got a page full here that was for your stream that we forgot to go over.
What else have I done for stupid mistakes? I've gotten pests in my tanks for not dipping stuff. Oh, actually, big one. This sucked. Like about 2 years ago now, when I was moving to my new tank, water box, I had all my fish in 2 different temporary tanks on my office floor. And somebody was importing some fish, and they're like, "Oh, do you want anything off this like import order?" And there's like this like rare golden angelfish, dwarf angel, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds sweet." So I grabbed it, and then of course I didn't have anywhere to put it, so I put it in one of my temporary tanks, and it had something. And it wiped out almost all of my fish in that tank, which friggin' sucked because they're fish I had for years. So that was depressing. And that was when I learned the value of actually quarantining. So that sucked.
How long ago was that, sorry?
Probably like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay. So a while
So that's and then I started quarantining for a long time after that.
So you've sorted out, obviously, you trust just one source for fish, or where do you get your fish from over there? Just wherever? Or you're real cautious?
Yeah.
With it?
Yeah, there's a few places, but like the stores I'll get them from now, I know they run copper pre-quarantine. I've learned my lesson of not to buy fish that are fresh off the import from the States and who knows what, because that was a very expensive, shitty mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a few places do like bagged fish sales and stuff. And it's a little bit, it's kind of, I understand it because these fish are going through so many changes that one less change is probably a good thing, but they've already been through so much stress that it just makes me a little bit concerned.
Yep, I feel you. I've also learned the lesson of the importance of dipping your acros, your corals, or giving a good inspection. I've also I will cut off all the frag plugs where I never used to. Back in the early days, you're like, no, there's still encrusting goodness there.
I've got to save this little smidgen of coral. No.
Yeah, I did that for so many years, but now I'm just like, nope, cut off the base.
There's certain corals that really sucks that they're actually full encrusted to the plug. They start encrusting around, like acans and favias and all that kind of stuff. Maybe some forms of chalice, but they can be a bit more difficult.
Yeah, if I'm motivated, I'll just slice it just under the flesh or just through the bottom couple mil of it and just slice it off like with a coral with a diamond bandsaw.
You have a bandsaw. You got one of the fancy ones, do you? I've got a Ryobi bandsaw that I make do with. She gets the shit done. It's literally like a Bunnings job table saw for wood. You've seen me use it. Come on.
Then you're good.
I haven't done fragging in a while, actually. I'll have to get some fragging done soon. I got some bigger stuff there that needs a chop for sure. It's hard, because there hasn't been as many colonies available recently. Not of really nicer stuff anyway. So you find yourself, instead of getting that $60 colony of acros or whatever, you ended up getting this little frag, or this, instead of a $100 piece of acan, you get a $30 frag of it, which is a good way to go, I suppose. They grow up.
I mean, it saves you money. It all grows eventually, right?
Yeah, some things slower than others, that's for sure. There's certain chalice and stuff like that that are just fairly slow growing. There's one chalice that's really fast growing actually, so it's hard to put that generalization on everything, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
On that note, I need to flip over this chalice that's upside down. I've been thinking about fixing it for a couple of days
it,
now.
it bugs me so much when I walk into the LFS and there's corals touching or whatever. I've taught, because I know most of them personally. I didn't teach them actually because a few of them already did it, but I tell them to leave a little stick out so I can just move some corals about when you go and visit.
Yeah.
Although that's not very often lately, that's for sure.
There you go. I fixed my upside down chalice, so that's good.
Nice.
I'm happy now.
Nice. He'll be happy.
And the torch that was sideways.
Was it a fish that
my
did
tube.
it or just a flow?
I think it's the Millionaires.
Yeah.
The bugger flips over everything trying to put pods.
I tell you what.
He's a good pest hunter, but now he's a pain in the butt because he just flips stuff constantly.
When I went to Heron for that trip that I did that video on, not the last one, that was some of the wrasse there was amazing, and they were real assholes to other fish. You see this one massive, I think it was a no, it was a, I don't know. There's so many types of them, but it was this really nice big one, and he had all these little ladies around. He was pimping it, and you see a green one come over, and he like scared him off. He's like, "Fuck off! This is my women."
Lost you, buddy.
Oh my god, they've been.
I know. Where was it?
It'd been so
There's the
long.
ladies all around you, and then you just fade into the abyss.
It had been so
Yep.
long. All right, Can you hear me now? It's showing up on the thing.
Barely.
Barely. Oof, that sounds a bit worse. You can hear me now, but
You're back down.
yeah,
I can hear you.
yeah, but it sounds freaking horrible. All right.
Yeah, but I can hear you.
Yeah.
It's better than not hearing you.
Yeah, pretty much. So with some of the changes that are coming about, like where do you see it going more? So the hobby side of things. You just think we'll all get invested in breeding? Is that something that you'll be interested in the near future, or just takes up too much time and effort?
I think over time we're going to be importing less stuff. So I think it's going to turn into, eventually it's going to be more, the coral grow places and the wholesalers and the people that are aquaculturing it, like in their facilities and hobbyists. I think eventually it's going to turn into that. I think we're still going to be able to get stuff for a while. I mean, places come on and offline, and there's, one country might shut down, but then there's some island that's another country, 20 miles away that maybe they'll open up. So I don't think it's going to ever completely shut down, but I think it will be less wild stuff coming in and going to have to be more, hobbyist facility, the worldwides, the aquaculture people that grow their own coral. That's my theory. What do you think?
It's going to be interesting to watch. I think a lot of the automation makes it easier nowadays to do some of these things. We've got so many. Because some things with coral spawning is light cycles and just certain temperature cycles and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it easier, doesn't it? That's for sure. I don't know how many people are going to be interested in it, but I'm glad that there is certain people like Jamie Craig and that over in England. Is it England? UK? Yeah. Actually giving these things a go and trying to get this information out there. It's something.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, if they could spawn and make, like, sweet coral frags, especially if they start doing with, like, fancier, nicer corals, that could be a massive source for the hobby as well as the wild. So it could be the double win-win, right?
It is.
It's going to be, like, the way to, like, make...
It's something that's kind of, as I was saying a bit earlier, I think we got sidetracked. I was watching a stream where Shane Coleman was on there talking about spawning and chopping corals fragmentation, because he does a lot of scalemia, all the kind of stuff that people thought that you couldn't frag before, and has quite a bit of success, although they are on a massive 30,000 litre farm with all their range of traces and all this kind of stuff. So you take that with what you can. I love the guys there, Christian and Shane. They're both amazing people. And the more further we can get with that side of it, because Sustainable Reefs, which is their company as well as Coral Essentials, they're all about sustainable farming of corals and that. So it's definitely the way the future is going. But as he'd mentioned on the stream, growing these corals can be a lot more viable than spawning, because some of these babies just take so long to grow. The,
Well, one thing that you mentioned earlier, though, too, with a lot of like the automation and stuff now, one benefit I do think though is it is making it easier for people to keep corals and not lose stuff, right? And the more successful people can be is going to be better for everybody in the hobby. So I do think that is one big benefit of all like the kind of advancements of the technology that we've had over the last couple of years.
yeah, for sure, for sure. As I was just saying, it's just the babies are going to be a lot harder to grow out because they take so much time. So it's
True.
something where fragging might be a more viable option. We just kind of need to make sure we keep more corals alive.
Yeah, so it'll take longer to grow out, but if you get thousands of babies, I mean, it takes longer, but then you'll have a shit ton of them eventually, right? So it's a trade-off for sure. And the other flip side is it's probably gonna be pretty dang hardy if it's born and raised and it only knows life in a tank versus something that was imported or. So I think they'd be hardier. That's my theory, at least.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. As I said, it will be interesting to see where the hobby goes over the next few years. I'm definitely curious to see. Now, on that note, how long do you see yourself reefing for?
I don't know if I could ever see myself not reefing. I feel like there'd be a void in my life. I didn't have a tank. It'd be weird.
So you're in it for good now.
I'm probably in it for life. I'm sure. Like, I don't know. It'd be weird not having a tank. Just be this empty void.
No, I feel you. I feel you. You don't think that anything could replace that? Like other? Do you have other animals, other pets?
I have a dog.
Dog.
I have some dart frogs.
Some dart frogs. Yeah, well, we heard
Yeah,
that earlier.
some dart frogs and a dog.
I love the dart frogs. I used to have
Yep.
Green tree frogs, but
Oh,
they've
nice.
since
That's cool.
passed. It was I had them for 10 years or something.
Yeah, that's cool. If I didn't have this tank here, I would almost do like a full wall vivarium. I think that'd be cool. But I don't think I'd not have a tank. Like maybe I could have one tank, but I couldn't have no tanks.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, I feel
Yeah.
like I'll be in it for the long run for sure. There's not too much I think that will get me out. As I said, on your stream I have a lot less time for it, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be out of it. It just means I'm not getting corals every month.
Yeah, and your tank might almost be happier because you're effing with it less.
You're not wrong. No, I do believe in that. I stick my hands in there as little as possible, but I don't.
Oh,
What's
that's another lesson learned. When I was like a new reefer, and new I mean the first like 5 years, my hands were in my tank like daily. Where now I'm like, even now I still let chalice upside down. It's on my to-do list to flip it over for a few days now. I finally got around to it, but it's now I have so much more restraint. Where before, like the second I saw something, your hands in the tank. So keep your hands out. All those oils, all your freaking gallons of hand sanitizer for last year, like any dirt, like all that stuff is, not the best to contaminate your water, right? And if you do once or twice, obviously not a big deal. But over time, stuff can build up in there. So it's the more you can keep your hands out, or the more you can minimize it, the better.
Yeah, for sure. I think we kind of touched on this the other day, and I mentioned that if you take the right precautions, that I don't feel that it has too much of an effect. But in saying that, I'm not sticking my hands in my tank every day. It's once a week if need be, probably less than that, just for maintenance.
Oh, well, you're doing pretty good then.
Yeah, yeah. Stay out of it as much as you can now, though, for sure. All right. Well,
Yeah,
it's been amazing catching up. We've got a live stream draw to do. I'll just get that up now. What do we got? I've got to get rid of.
Rocky, come back to me.
Oh my god! I've got to get rid of you anyway. Here, Dev. You can't even hear me, can you? Bloody hell! You guys can see what I'm having to do. All this crap. All right. I change it to there, although that won't even. Alright. Still can't hear me, can you? Oh, gonna have to get that sorted for next time, that's for sure. Bloody Skype.
Hey, there you are.
Yeah, I know, bloody Skype, man. I swear it's Skype, not my stuff.
You're still super choppy.
Still super choppy. Hang on.
Yeah.
tell you what, salt water does a number on all this stuff in the room here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're back.
All right, so we're going to do the draw. I'm going to pop you down here. We're going to open this one here, and we're going to go here. All right, what does that look like? Can we see it? Yep. All right, so here we've got all the names that are entered. Now, some people, I'm not 100% sure how to see if you did everything, so fortunately, everyone that commented basically is going to get in. There wasn't too many people, but anyone that I'm confident that did the right thing has got 2 entries. So that's why some names.
Oh, I lost your audio, but I'm watching it on YouTube.
Some things are up there twice, so I'll just double check this quickly. Am I back for you?
You're back now.
Should be. Oh, ready to break this thing.
I know, I've been there. I've been there, man.
All right, so let's get our clicks going. So, all right.
Is this elimination style? Is this last man standing?
This is last man standing. So it's not first one. We're gonna chill out for a couple of minutes, and we're gonna get excited together for everyone. They're not going to be on the stream because I think there's like 4 people watching or something. So let's just go. We'll get excited for them, and I'll message them after this stream and let them know that they've won a free frag rack. So I should probably show you what this is for. So this is for. Here we have just a little frag rack.
Ooh.
So this one's just a personal use one, so it's a bit dirty and whatnot. But
I can't hear you, but it looks like a dang nice frag rack.
Yeah, so you kind of get the point here. It's got the silicone little grippers. It's all adjustable on the side.
Got some nice shiny black acrylic. We got the lovely frag holders.
Yeah, so it should do the job pretty well for all your needs. That's the one that we're doing a draw for today. We have
Beauty.
This is the other standard size, so that's a little bit bigger for anyone who's a bit more into their frags. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
it's a nice looking frag rack, man.
This is what we're drawing. Yeah, man. I don't do things in half. It's 2 layers sandwiched together of 3mm. So these things are super strong.
That's solid. Really stand on that.
Oh
baby.
man, you pretty much could. The big ones are all braced underneath, so you're not getting any bowing there. I'm not building anything to last a year. All my products have at least a 2-year warranty on them, so it's
Beautiful.
something where I'm not building crap. I'm not here to make something that's going to break on you. You can get it for probably cheaper elsewhere, but it ain't going to last like mine.
But will it be as solid and as sexy?
Exactly.
Probably not.
All right, so let's get on to this. We are going to click to spin. We'll go full screen here. All right, let's go. Good luck to everyone who's in the draw.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Who's going to be first to go? Wayne. Oh, Sean. Sorry. Fuck. Oh, shit.
Oh, Sean.
Fucking hell. Jesus.
Good effort, Sean.
Good effort, mate. So, sorry, you are on there another time, so you get another chance. You're one of the ones I was confident that did the right thing. And as I said, everyone kind of just gets lucky this time. So I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt. All right. Christopher Elias.
Oh, Christopher.
Sorry, mate. All right.
He for effort, man. He for effort.
I think he's on there again somewhere too. So he's got another chance still. Oh, there he was. He nearly got taken out. All right, Michael Parr. Oh, sorry, Michael.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm watching on YouTube. I got the slight delay.
Fair enough. You still can't hear me on the normal one.
You're back now.
Anya. Oh, Anya. Sorry, Anya. I chucked you in
dun,
there.
Dun,
dun. It's confusing where it's going to stop, isn't it? It's so intriguing.
I know.
Sam.
That's just for extra.
Sorry, Sam.
Oh, Sam. Sorry,
Better
Sam.
luck next time. Look, we'll be having more competition, so.
It was a good effort, Sam.
It certainly was. Oh, and you were on there twice. I'm sorry. Better luck next time.
Sorry,
as I
farewell.
said. Yeah, she would have loved that rack too for a little fragging and whatnot. She always fragging that woman.
Dude, you're so Canadian. You're apologizing to everybody afterwards. That's what I do on mine. You feel bad for them,
yeah. They put effort into to get in the draw. Finally,
It's true.
sorry. All right, I'm gonna stop saying sorry. Just move on.
It's okay. I do it all the time. People bug me about it. So the tables have turned. I get to bug you now.
David.
Oh, David.
Mate, it's a shame. I hope to get you a rack, but someone else is gonna win it. It's exciting.
Yep.
Oh, nearly Morgs. Mitch.
Oh, Mitch.
You missed out, Mitch. I think there's another Mitch here somewhere. We'll find out.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, it was either Morgs or Morgs. Sorry, Morgs. Oh, he was one of the first ones to do it too. I kind of...
Oh, we lost Morgs on that one?
Yeah.
I just saw the Mitch on the YouTube. The 30-second delay.
No, we lost Morgs. Alright.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sean. Sorry, Sean. I think that's your second entry.
Bum, 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 da-da-da,
Sorry,
bum, ba-dum.
mate. Alright.
Dun, dun, dun.
Christopher,
Slowly
that's your
dwindling
second
down.
entry. Unlucky. Oh.
Oh, Chris.
Alright, we're getting down here now. We've only got about 10 left.
Yep.
And you'll be getting a free frag rack that you can use, hopefully. Mitch. Spewing.
Good effort, Mitch. Good effort.
Alright.
Somebody's gonna get a sweet frag rack soon.
Adrian. You're out, mate.
Good effort, Adrian. Good effort.
He was there for the ride anyway. I'd be curious to see if any of these people actually watch this and they're like excited about it. I'm excited.
Dude, I would want it. It's a sweet frag rack.
Addy, you are also one of the first ones to complete all the actions. Unfortunately. I think there's another Addy on here somewhere. Like, yep, you've got another chance still.
So, do they get multiple entries from doing more actions?
No, it was just because I was confident that they'd done everything I'd asked, whereas some of the other ones, it was like 2 out of the 3 steps.
Okay, fair.
Reef Changus.
Take brownie points.
Reefus Chang. So, Reefus, you missed out
Reefus
this
Chang.
time. There'll be another competition soon, but we'll have to organise something for... I'll do another stream next week and we'll get a competition drawn. Addy.
Nice.
Addy. It's kind of hoping you won.
She's getting...
We're getting low. Who's on here? No, not Wayne. Not Wayne. Oh, not Hacken. Oh, well. Sorry, Hakan. Hacken. Sound like the biggest bogan. Hacken. Sorry, mate. You missed out this time. Although I don't think you did it properly anyway, so...
Dun, dun, dun.
Ganesh. And
Solid
I'm not
effort.
even going to try that last name. Sorry, mate. You missed out.
It's almost down to the wire.
There goes Morgs. He has a really nice picture of a Scully on his profile picture. So I was like, yeah, I like this Scully.
He held out for quite a while there, though.
Did. It's so exciting when you get to the end. I've been in one of your draws where I made it to like second last, and I'm like sitting there on the edge of my seat. Dylan, unlucky, mate. Shit, we're getting there. We got Wayne Elliott, Michael Park, Anthea Robbins, at Wayne Elliott. Woo, Wayne Elliott has got 2 chances here. Oof. It's pretty damn lucky. So I know he was probably one of the third one to do it correctly. So let's see what happens here. Maybe he's just going to...
His odds are getting pretty good.
It's not bad. It's even better. Anthea.
Dang.
Sorry, Anthea. All right.
Down.
Who's it going to be?
Dun, dun,
Well, we
dun.
knew we were going to knock one and Wayne out, so that's kind of fair, isn't it? There couldn't have been two Waynes, then it would have looked friggin' rigged. Who's Wayne? How
Totally
much is he paying? All right.
To be on the list.
Wayne and Michael Park. Here we go. Last one.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun. I don't want to click. Oh, shit. Oh, let's go. All right. I didn't click the right spot. Wayne. Your chances. I was really rooting for you there, right, Wayne. Oh no. Devastated.
Good work.
Although Michael, there we go, mate. You've won yourself Reef Acrylic frag rack. I'll get on to you. I'll message you, and I'll see how we can get that sent out to you. The one thing that I
lost you, Rocky.
The one thing that I do ask is that once you receive it, pop a little bit of a video up somewhere, and anyway, I'll get on to contacting him very shortly. You still can't hear me, can you, Reef Dudes?
Michael Park.
Michael Park.
Nice work,
All
Michael.
right, you did good, mate. So microphone is still not working for you, is it, Dev? No, I can see it's not working. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to try and turn
You're
it
back.
off.
Go on in like a second. Michael Park, congratulations for winning a pretty sweet frag rack. And I'm just kind of jealous. It looks pretty awesome.
As I said, I'll have to get on to... Look, you're going to have to pay me postage because I looked it up. But... No, it's not crazy, actually. I can get most things, as long as they're under a kilo, they're for $32, I think. If it's under 500 grams, it's like $20 or something. So I didn't check everywhere, admittedly. I'll have to grab your address. Because just from personal sake, I really want to see your thoughts on it, that's for sure. All right. So that was a bit exciting. We got Michael Park as a winner. I will message him very shortly. Devin, thank you so much for visiting us on the Rookie Reefer channel today. It's been absolutely amazing to have you, and we'll have to do this again very shortly.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
Hey, good to have a bit of a more relaxing scene. We all pretty chill around here, and
I lost your audio again.
Hopefully this is something that we can look to do again in the near future. I have to see if we...
I just need to learn to lip read and I'll be set.
I don't expect miracles from you, that's for sure. Although I know you can hear me now.
Yeah, you're back.
It's Skype, I swear. Although I'm going to listen back to this stream and it probably sounds fucked for the audio.
No, but people said it was good, and a couple times I muted the YouTube,
really,
and you sounded.
It's really weird.
So I don't know.
In OBS, my NDI source is actually like flickering. It's like doing this.
Yeah.
So I don't even.
Yeah, something weird's going on.
Sorry if you couldn't hear me on that side, guys. We tried. We were here. We attempted. Come to chill out.
I think the YouTube was good. It was just me.
Yeah.
I took one for the teams. The YouTube had the quality audio.
Definitely. All right. Well,
thank
you very much. It's an honor to have you on the stream, especially as one of our first guests getting back into it. I really do appreciate it. As always, it's been amazing to catch up. Always good to have a good chat, and good luck with your tanks, and good luck with your bubba, and good luck to get more opportunities to get on that one-wheeler of yours.
Heck yeah. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming, guys. I'll go over... I've just got to open this. Give me 2 seconds if it's going to work. Yep. All right. Ryan Cameron, Phil, and Reefing with O. That's about all we've had in the chat so far. Everyone gets a bit scared today. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Appreciate anyone watching on the stream back. And let us know what you think, and let us know how we can improve for the next time. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.